What's up, everyone? Welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fry School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Remember, we were talking about a lot of these games that are coming to PlayStation's other competitors like MLB The Show and Lego Horizon Adventure. So I decided, let me go get myself a copy of MLB The Show and play the game, get a little bit of sense to it, and do a lot more research as to the game itself. So I went to GameStop and I asked them if they had an old copy of an old version of MLB The Show, and they said, yeah, we got the 2020 on the PS4. And I said, sure, I'll take it. As I was about to pay and check out, I looked into the show glass where they have some of the PC components and I saw 7. I was like, no, don't tell me that's a Ryzen 7. So I looked through the glass and behold, it was a 5800X3D. I've been looking to buy this CPU for a long time, and at first I bought it, but I returned it because I was moving and I could not make a build at the time and it was discounted. So I walk into GameStop with a PlayStation game coming out and a CPU with my teeth from end to end smiling, because that's basically how you're going to see me shopping on any given day. I say this simply because in order for me to make a purchase of a 5800X3D, I'm well aware of what its performance metrics can look like and what its capabilities are like. In fact, to even help push that even further, Hardware Unboxed made a video just a few hours ago showing exactly what it's capable of with the new Windows patch and the update compared to the AMD Ryzen 7 9700X. I say all of this to say that when you're making purchasing decisions based on hardware performance, you have to do so based on available data for you. And one thing a lot of the hardware manufacturers have learned is if they put their products in the hands of people that are going to test them, they're, for the most part, going to give PC players the information that they need to be able to make the purchase. However, in the case of PlayStation and the PS5 Pro, we really don't have much to go by. And I've started to see some folk, like this audience member of mine, shout out to you, Mr. Kendall, for putting this particular comment out here. I think it's very interesting that we have this conversation. They said, the PlayStation 5 Pro exists because it will fill an unaddressed market, which is advanced PC-like performance in a console. If you think you can make a spec for spec sheet for the same price, you're delusional. Prove me wrong by providing the parts list and price. A few have tried, and the price tag was $1,400. First of all, let me say, I don't know whom you talk to, and maybe because you're new to the Video Game Fry School channel, I'll go ahead and quickly jump to it. I have a PC parts list that builds a computer, which I built myself. If you look on the bottom right corner of your screen, you'll see video of me just taking the hardware and taking it apart. I was going to add, I think, a new 2 terabyte hard drive to it, and it uses exact same CPU and GPU specs. And you can build it now for $687. And the prices are actually gone up because the PS5 Pro kind of inflated the price of this particular hardware SKUs when it was first announced. But back then, you could get the 6750 XT for $297. I think the power color was going for $297. I bought the XFX Merc. I think it's QICK 319. I paid $314 for it. But at the end of the day, if you're wondering if this PC is going to beat a PS5 Pro, I can't tell you yay or nay because the PS5 Pro is not out. But I can tell you that I know that the CPU will be better than what is inside of the PlayStation 5 because I know that the Series X's CPU is a 4800S, and we've seen its performance from Digital Foundry when they got their hands on a development kit, basically a Series X kit. So we already have a lot of data. We already have a lot of information. And so my video is not to concentrate on all of the parts and the pricing. That's already out there. Because if the PS5 Pro were to come out and be like, it's better than this particular 6750 XT, all I got to do is spend another extra $50 that you will spend for your disk drive because you more than likely need that disk drive. On the PC, I don't. And if I did, I'd pay for a $20 disk drive. And yes, it may be a Blu-ray you have, and it may be like a disc I have. Okay, I'll pay $40 for a Blu-ray drive. And I will still have a PC that is better, and I'm no longer trying to be on parity with the PS5 Pro. I'm trying to just simply beat it, which I think this build already has beaten it, but I'm not going to conclude that yet until I see the PS5 Pro, right? So here's where the challenge is. If you say $1,400, at that point, I'm building a machine that the PS5 Pro can never come close to. The people you spoke to probably do not know how hardware works. And that's why I kicked off the video today showing a lot of the specs that we actually have to go through in order for us to make purchasing decisions when it comes to the hardware that we buy on PC. Isn't it interesting, ladies and gentlemen, that the PS5 Pro is being touted to give you, according to this audience member of mine, advanced PC-like performance, but we have no idea what the performance actually is in a more concrete form with a varying number of games out there. Thankfully, Digital Foundry has been doing some work where we actually have some of their, data in terms of what they've seen from hands-on experience and talking with developers. But the unveiling of this new 46% performance or 70 something more performance GPU and all that is being kept very closely to PlayStation's chest. Whereas in the real world, where AMD, Nvidia, and Intel want to sell PC components, they slap it all in front of everybody, and the PC folk will run tests and run all kinds of analysis and metrics, and you'll be able to see exactly what it is that you're buying and how it's going to play in your favorite games. And you can go to Hardware Unboxed, you can go to Gamers Nexus, you can go to Linus Tech, you can go to the folk at L1 who love doing Linux-based testing in some cases, and you can find all kinds of information that you need before you make a purchasing decision. Why is PlayStation hiding it? If this is not telling to you that you have to actually wait and hold your money, I don't know what else is. And I'm really glad that this particular comment came into light, because to me, I strongly believe that a lot of people come out here and they somehow think that PlayStation has some secret sauce that they're going to sell to them for a cheap price that's going to destroy everything that is already existing on PC. You act like AMD did not make that, PlayStation 5 Pro, and AMD is going to somehow undercut themselves because they like PlayStation, or PlayStation is going to somehow undercut themselves because they like you, and they're not going to try to make money off of you. Especially when we've seen that the last Pro console was not priced as much as this Pro console is being priced, and we know from the Insomniac leaks that somewhere, somehow, PlayStation is eyeing using a premium sales model to be able to go back and refute or counter Xbox's capability to rake in money with their Game Pass and Call of Duty. Look at it on the bottom here. Sony Impact premium sales model is a central approach. Now, I don't know if this translates to it, but I even see you in your comment to my audience member, Mr. Kendall, you saying that the reason that PlayStation can sell a $1,000 console is because they provided value proposition. No, PlayStation is playing you. They're selling you a $1,000 console that you don't even know what the performance is, and it's already sold out to some individuals and scalpers. It shows that there's not a lot of prudence in the PlayStation purchasing community at this point, except maybe we just want to call them high rollers, whales, and sharks. Just because they sold the colored box to one guy for $1,000, they're making you even more convinced that the 700 version of it is also as valuable in terms of its performance. It's a ruse. I don't know how you don't see it, but man, I wish people will have a little bit of, wisdom in going into these purchasing decisions, but it's okay. It's their money. They can do whatever they want with it, but no one is really convinced from the hardware perspective that this is how business is done. You see, PlayStation fans, this is one of the beautiful things I like having this conversation about. We are so used to giving PlayStation and Sony all of the benefit of the doubt. They'll tell you something and you take it for as gospel. You'll say, yeah, that's exactly what it is. Whereas on the PC side, we're kind of used to bucking the norm. I mean, Hardware Unboxed and Gamers Nexus and some of the others were just in a little spout the other day with the new Ryzen CPUs telling AMD, man, your testing and what your results were giving is not the same results we're seeing. AMD had to basically go and say, no, we're using the new Windows, updated patch. And Windows had to be like, well, here's the patch. If you guys want to test it out before we give you the official patch. And then they tested it out and said, well, okay, some of the data matches, some of them don't match. What's going on here? And we have people in our community that their whole stick is based on their credibility, and to be able to tell these companies, we're not seeing the scientific data that you're seeing. So now that Digital Foundry is in a position where they're talking about, okay, there's improvement here, there's improvement there. What is the improvement? How are we able to see the improvement from a numeric perspective to be able to balance it out with the price that they're asking? It's not yet there. And the fact that I'm not seeing it, nor anybody is, should cause you to have some sort of concern. And maybe you're used to buying consoles and these questions are not usually asked, but when you say advanced PC-like performance, expect to be held to the same standard of which we use to judge PC performance as valuable for the dollar. That's just simply it. Because when all is said and done, sometimes you see Digital Foundry do things like a cost per frame analysis. Yeah, where you're going to be checking how much money you should be paying for each frame that you're actually generating from the game. Oh, it's a thing. You didn't know? These PC folk are super nerdy. Like, they literally count their dollars. Some PC players will be like, I'm buying this part so that I can use it for X number of years before I upgrade. They're not running after the latest and the greatest. This is one of the reasons I see a lot of PlayStation fans will say, oh, these PC gamers are not really, getting the latest computer. It's because many of them, when they bought their devices, they said, until 8 years passes, I'm not touching this build. And that build is not going to be touched. But when the time comes, they will open that computer up and they will upgrade it. That's how most PC gamers roll, because many of them put in a lot of stock to building their devices. So if you need a $1,400 build, Mr. Kendall, that's something that you won't even have to think about till the PS6. The PS6 will probably have to be begging to get there in that regard. So if you want something that can actually beat the PlayStation 5 Pro, we'll just have to wait a little bit but for the PS5, we already beat it at $650. And this is including your so-called PlayStation Plus that you've been paying all this while, and the cost of games that you've been paying as well. So already you see that there is a cost and a value proposition on the PC side compared to the console. And this is just the very first paragraph of your comment. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for watching the video. I'll try and put that link in here for you guys, those of you who may be interested in checking out a PC. And again, take that build as just a placeholder. I mean, I have a build that does that. I know how it performs. I can vouch for it. But you might want something more powerful. You might want something in the NVIDIA class. It is just a placeholder to kind of tell you exactly what it is that you may want to build. Thanks for watching. Peace out.